everyone, my name is Aikirim. Today I'd like to share with you some TOEFL preparation tips. I recently received my TOEFL exam results, so I scored 30 in speaking. This is the maximum score, and I'm very much happy with the result. Taking into account that I wasn't preparing for the exam that long, it took me overall 2 weeks, but the speaking was something that I was preparing for around a week, and I was taking in computer-based tests, so stay tuned because by the end of the video I'll be sharing with you some useful templates that you can use in your speaking, and I'll be also attaching a book that I was using in order to prepare for the overall test. So those are very useful phrases and words that you can that you definitely need to repeat and revise before going to the test. So let's start with the structure of the exam. And in speaking, you have 6 different types of questions, and the first 2 questions are open-ended, and you have to answer on familiar topics. Those questions are about daily life and about your town, or about the advantages of using certain types of transport and so on. So for example, I had the question about the qualities of a friend, and the second question was about the advantages of using car and versus bicycles. So those questions were not difficult, and I was given 15 seconds to prepare and 45 seconds to respond to those 2 questions. And starting from question number 3 till the end, you will be dealing with so-called integrated or integrated kinds of questions, where you have to listen to the recording or you need to read a short text, and based on those lectures, or it can be a conversation as well, and reading the text, a short passage, you have to give your response. So it is mostly about summarizing skills, and where you need to highlight all the points that were in the recording and in the passage. As well as that, you definitely will be sharing your opinion. So on some questions, the question may sound like, what would you do if you were in this situations, or what would you recommend the student to do? So you have to give your own critical opinion on this, so you have to justify that. So what do I recommend on how to prepare for these types of questions? The first and most important constraint, I think, in TOEFL IBT speaking section is that it is a very, very time strict exam. So those time periods where you have to prepare, those are like only 15 seconds and 30 seconds max. And this alarm clock that is actually all the time popping up on your screen is a very distracting thing, and I think that maybe that was the case about my exam, but as I have already heard from other students, they all had this similar situation, is that when we were passing, I and the other candidates that were taking the TOEFL test on the same day, we were having the speaking section simultaneously. So it means that in the room, all 10 people were speaking at the time, and it was very difficult to concentrate. But if you work on that point, I think it's not a problem. It's just because you had your whole I had my headphones, and I was trying to speak loudly, but not that loudly so that I distract everyone, but I was trying to speak confidently and trying not to pay attention on them. So this is the recommendation number 1, that you have to concentrate on the test. My second recommendation would be to prepare the template answers for different kinds of questions. So the first part of the questions are open-ended, where you just have to share your point of view on the familiar topics, and the rest is going to be about the context, like you have to read something and you have to listen to the recording and give your opinion. So for the first part, let's just study one example, and I'll try to give you my sample response so that you understand it better. So the question: your friend doesn't have enough money to pay for your computer and the textbooks all at the same time, and what would you suggest? So my response would be similar to this. If I had to choose between computer and textbook, I would definitely choose computer. The reasons for such an opinion is that first, it is very convenient. You can access the internet and download different files and useful materials from different websites, and you can share it with your friends. You can send it to the teacher, and you can also watch different useful video materials on the topics that you are covering on the course. The second reason is that, to my mind, all textbooks tend to be heavy and they take a lot of space. So if my friend were an international student, it would be very hard to take all the textbooks with you to your home country, and computer and electronic books are much more convenient and useful. So I hope that you already understood, even though I was actually shooting it for, I mean, like in just once, and I think I was repeating some words, but even though some words and occasionally were repeated, I think overall response was well structured. So well structured response means that you have an overall overview of the topics or the points that you want to give in your response, and I was using some signaling words like the first, the second, additionally, also, as well as that, and those connecting words are very helpful for the examiner just to understand what is your idea. And of course, it is very important to work on your fluency, like how fast your response is, and you also have to work on the pronunciation. I think it is, even though I think like all students have, all international and not native students have their accent, it's very good to work on the way you pronounce different things. Like even when you read new words, you have to check what is the pronunciation, and the shadowing techniques like repeating after the native speaker would be very helpful in this. So what is my third recommendation is that you have to download useful materials. So I included into the description the link to the book that I was using. This is a very helpful book. This is about vocabulary and learning different kinds of words in context, and I was also training with this book for my reading section, and I learned a lot of new words, and they were very academic, and they were about scientific topics, and so I think that this book is really good to have. So yeah, you can download it below the video. As well as that, I included the templates, the structures of the response that I was using. So feel free just to go through the templates, and maybe you'll find something new, and I hope that you can use it, just print it out, and you can use it before the test by repeating all those things, revising it. If you have like 1 or 2 days just to prepare for the test, feel free. So, but it's always a good idea just to have your own templates, like you have your own style of speaking. So if you think like some words are very some words are so common in your speech that you want to omit them, you like make sure that you don't repeat them too much, and maybe some words are very passive in your vocabulary and you want to activate them, so you can also include those phrases, interesting idioms, and topic specific phrases into your template. And you can actually make a kind of a cheat sheet where you list all the necessary phrases and the templates you want to make sure that you use them in the test. It is very helpful. And at the end of the video, I also want to tell about the course that I am launching on the TOEFL preparation. So if you have any questions or you want to find someone to prepare with, I'll be happy to tell you the details of the course, where we cover all the sections, not only speaking. But if you are specifically interested in speaking and writing, we are offering a very useful and absolutely convenient course and the way you can so that you can prepare. So thank you so much for your attention, and I'll be happy to see you in the next video.